Is it an Irish or is it a Scottish song? Episode 143. I am Rod Murphy, and this is Growing Up Poor in Irish Boston, a series of my 1950s era Irish and Boston songs, poems, stories, history, and jokes. Is it an Irish or a Scottish song? Answering that question is not easy. For centuries, Celtic music has passed freely across the borders of Ireland and Scotland, and also the other Celtic locations like Wales, the Isle of Man, Cornwall, and Cape Breton. Enough qualities are shared by their traditions that it can be difficult to separate one from another as they overlap or share a blurred boundary. A similar question could be asked. How can you tell a Scotsman from an Irishman? If Ian McGregor was standing next to Rory O'Shea, they would look like brothers, because really they are. Let's use the song Danny Boy as an example. Why is it assumed that the song Danny Boy is Irish? There are few geographic features in Ireland that are referred to as glens or mountains, as are mentioned in the song's lyrics. That kind of geography is really more typical of Scotland. Plus, the song itself was composed by an Englishman named Frederick Weatherly. So why is the song so closely associated with Ireland, at least among us Irish Americans? This question must include the facts that Irish folk music is thoroughly bound together with its connections to politics, patriotism, and warfare, and its centuries-old history, including the plantations and the Troubles. So we have two questions. Why is this song considered to be Irish, since it doesn't seem to be about Ireland? And why do people like this song? First, why is this song considered to be Irish? An Irish folk song does not have to be written by an Irish person for it to be an Irish folk song. Dirty Old Town by the Dubliners and others is widely considered to be an Irish song, though it was written by Owen McCall, an Englishman born to Scottish parents. Also, it is not about an Irish town, it is about an English town. Irish songs being less than 100% Irish is not unusual. For instance, the song Leaving of Liverpool is about a journey from England to California. However, if you listen to the 2011 High Kings recording of that song from their Live in Ireland album, you would hear the entire audience of Irish concertgoers enthusiastically singing along as if the song was Irish. An Irish folk song has less to do with the origin and more to do with the listener. American folk music has its origins often in foreign musical traditions, yet we, the USA consumers and performers, broadly call it American. The term folk music was invented by American academic types to describe music made by white people of European ancestry, often in the isolated rural South. I do not like that term. A better word would be ethnic music, but no one asked for my opinion. That idea of folk music then expanded to include the song styles of the Southern blacks as well as music made by other groups of ethnic Americans such as Native Americans, Mexican Americans, and Cajuns. All those plus others came under the umbrella of folk music, quote unquote. More confusing examples include music from the Canadian artists like Drake and Justin Bieber that pass as American, quote unquote. And the Pogues, recording of the band played Waltzing Matilda is considered to be an Irish song because they are an Irish band, though it was written by a Scottish man about an Australian service member in Turkey in World War I. Pardon the short break. I hope you are enjoying my Growing Up Poor in Irish Boston podcast. If you like this episode, please subscribe. It's free and helps me to grow my audience. And now, back to, is it an Irish song or is it a Scottish song? So as I said before, it's about the listener, not the history. It is the general opinion of the populace that really designate a song as a local phenomenon or not. Irish music has become a composite, with instruments like violins, concertinas, and even bouzoukis being considered traditional Irish instruments. The boundaries of what makes a song Irish aren't easily defined. Second, why do people like Irish music? Irish folk music is the most human, the most varied, the most poetical, and the most imaginative in the world. It is rich in tunes which imply simpatico and sensitivity. The Londonderry air is one of the most perfect in existence. With lyrics, it becomes Danny Boy. People, not just Mix, love Danny Boy as opposed to the Parting Glass or Molly Malone as a cultural touchstone, but also because it is a fine specimen of Irish love, beauty, and grief. That it used to be used, that is used at funerals only deepens it in its role of Irish music in mourning. There is a certain unspoken longing among us in the Irish diaspora. Our ancestors were driven out by force and famine, by generational poverty, forced labor, religious discrimination, and the ruthless theft of the Irish language, religion, custom, law, dress, government, and land. Queen Elizabeth I even ordered the execution of our bards and the destruction of all harps in 1601 in order to suppress our music as well. The most intact and ancient tradition that survived the long centuries of British exploitation of Ireland is its music. It is proudly subversive and rebellious, with a deep and persistent sorrow alongside its obvious joy and spirit and humor. Many of our songs express these varying sentiments at the same time. The Irish diaspora celebrates drinking and joking, but as evidenced by the high volume of misery in our songs, also sad, nostalgic, and full of death. G.K. Chesterton, the great British author, said, quote, "The great Gaels of Ireland are the men God made mad, for all their wars are merry and all their songs are sad," unquote. Some say that it was a planned decision by Hibernians, especially before the British occupation and before Irish independence, to create a cultural legitimacy to our ancient Irish culture, so as to make it worthy and sophisticated, rather than it be considered backward. 3 of our songs, Molly Malone, Danny Boy, and The Parting Glass, reinforce a longing for home and a certain tone of hope for life after death. Perhaps that longing for home and that hope for return contributes to the undeniable success of the Irish wherever they landed after their flights from the Emerald Isle. The Londonderry air is a powerful example of the beauty of the Irish lament. People love Danny Boy because it meets our expectation that Irish music be mournful, nostalgic, and hopeful. So I say, it doesn't matter if the song is Irish or Scottish. It's all in the ear of the beholder. Signed, sealed, and delivered.